Hello. Today's March 12th, 2025. And if you're like me, chronically online, which, by the way, I do think is like increasingly a redundant term because I just think everyone's online all the time. But, anyways, you might have seen an uptick in anti Joe Rogan videos. For me, the prime examples are Mr. Beat and Elephant Graveyard. Both are good videos. I would recommend watching them, and I don't want to like explicitly rehash their points here. Instead, I want to sort of dissect the very idea, or sort of just like the philosophy behind making an anti-Joe Rogan video. And so I think we are in a meta-modern or post-postmodern world, or at least those in power act like it. What I mean by that is the right has returned to nationalism. And I think that the right has sort of had a higher proclivity for searching for meaning, but right now they're most definitely trying to like claim objective truth, and they're creating their own meaning through doing that. But besides that, online content is ironic, but it's searching for meaning and it's creating meaning through irony most of the time. Like you have these memes that make pertinent political points, but they're also ironic. And so like it realizes that meaning is created, that truth is made into something real through structures. So you have these things that are, for me, evidence that we live in a meta-modern world. And I think Joe searching for both, in the sense that he's searching for meaning and he's clinging to what he thinks to be the meaning. So, in this context, it seems to me that you have this sort of meta-modern critique of meta-modernism itself, or like an example of it, and Joe is an example of a meta-modern person, and I think it's effective. Maybe we'll talk about that in a second here, but both videos are inherently aware that truth is structured by context. And when I say truth, I'm not talking about scientific truth. I'm not talking about 2 + 2 = 4. I'm talking about the narrative and how narratives create truth. We talk about this in soccer all the time. Because so many people, or not soccer, but sports generally, I'm just a pro soccer person, but in sports, because we talk about LeBron potentially being the GOAT, there's a narrative. Is it LeBron or is it Michael Jordan? And so the truth is in the narrative, and in the micro at least, I'll say that. And this is made clear through Joe's views over time, in my eyes. At the beginning, when most people enjoyed him, he was this like curious, sort of just silly guy, and his truth was a very 1960s hippies truth. But now it's much different, obviously. But both videos came down against his resolution in regard to a meta-modern life. Elephant Graveyard's video pokes fun at Joe's transition, how he has created his meaning in this narrative of what it means to be a man, what it means to be an American, and so on. He also critiques the right's attack on trans people, which is pretty brilliant if you ask me. So for me, it is meta-modernism fighting against itself. You have this like weird thing, and you almost want to say, are we in a new era? But no, I think this just highlights for me the need for the left to initiate new meaning, and attacking Joe reveals that for me, right? Because we see through Joe Rogan that the right has their own meaning, their own narrative. And the left doesn't really have one. Most of the time, it's just defending itself against the right. It's clinging on to these institutional beliefs that bureaucracy to some extent is good and so on. And the right has made their own truth. Um, I tried to show these videos to some conservative people in my family, and it made it even more clear for me because we just see it completely different. And that, for me, is the evidence of this postmodernism, right? Like, we were of the impression that, like I've said all throughout this video, that truth is formed through narratives, but now we accept that, but we also see the sort of value of trying to construct meaning irrespective of what we have to say about truth. And again, this sort of social context. And I would love to say that someone like Bernie is very capable of creating this meaning, but unfortunately he's not going to be around for much longer. It's the blunt truth. And so the left has a job to do. And so in a way, these anti-Joe Rogan videos are also criticisms of the left, because they, for me, show how ineffective they've been in sort of participating in this meta-modern world. While the right, I disagree with them, but they've been uber successful. I mean, using Uber and the German, it's pretty ironic, which really just sort of elevates the irony to a whole new level in this video. But yeah, let me know what you think. I think it's good. I think there are tons of people that might sort of start to think about Joe, because Joe is, state media in effect, and he has one of the biggest audiences online ever, really. And so, he's just not that funny too. So like the Elephant Graveyard video, poking fun at that was also pretty good. But again, let me know what you think. Today's Thursday. I've been doing all right. And yeah, peace and love.